I mean, ultimately, it boils down to this. I mean, whether it's a difficult conversation, whether it's a career move, a business decision, where to go to school, should I ask that girl out to the dance? I mean, whatever it is, take action. Get your hands dirty, make mistakes, and learn from them. And always allow yourself to be refined by fire. So what's most important? Is it quantity or is it quality? I mean, this is the age-old question, right? And I think that the problem with answering this question and the debate around it is it really depends upon what you're talking about, right? I mean, if I'm talking marriages and heart surgeons, I may want quality versus quantity, right? If I'm talking boysenberry pie and Twix, I may want quantity, right? And of course, we all know that the right Twix is better than the left. We just know that. I think that the challenging part of this, again, is that when we start looking at the aspects of it, if I take the scientific method approach, one of the most important parts is really looking and maintaining the same point of reference, right? Am I looking at the end state? Am I looking at the process? So there's a book called Art and Fear, and it's by David Bales and Ted Orland. Now, in this book, they kind of explain a story of a ceramics teacher. And on day one of the class, he took the whole class, divided them into two groups. See, on one side of the group, he was going to judge them at the end of the class purely based on quantity. Right, so they were going to take as many pots as they could make and really just kind of mass produce these. And if I remember the weights right, it was, if they did 50 pounds, it was an A. If it was 40 pounds, it was a B, and so on, right? And then on the other side, we'll call it Group B, was really focused on quality. They were focused on purely making the best pot, possible. And at the end of the class, the two groups would be weighed and judged upon their grading scale, right? And so the question came to be, who would get the A? Well, the class progressed and the two groups just started getting to work, right? So Group A, quantity, was really, again, they just started churning out these pots. They just started to get to work. Again, it wasn't so much about what it looks like, what it feels like, how nice is it, let's just make some pots. Let's just make some pots, right? Now, Group B got together and started putting their heads together and figuring out, okay, great, let's look at history. Let's look at all the beautiful pots in the world. I mean, they were focused on that perfect pot, right? They're researching, they're looking at it. It had to have the right handles in the right location, the right numbers. It had to be the right colors and size and design. It had to have that eye appeal to make you just want to buy it as soon as you stepped into that store, right? Remember, it had to be perfect to get an A, right? And, meanwhile, Group A, they're just churning out pots, right? They're looking at it, and as they start to gather and grow their big piles of pots, some interesting results occurred. Some of these interesting results was really that the pot with the best quality ended up being the actual group that was focused on quantity, Group A. I mean, they were busy just putting out pots, just building piles of these things, right? And then what happened is they learned from their mistakes. This handle broke off here because of reasons, and this color didn't quite work out. Let's make it better. So they just kept learning from their mistakes and from their challenges. And they quickly became refined from an elementary, ceramics student to fantastic and close to perfection. At the end of it, their pot was actually the best quality, even though they were purely focused on quantity. It was all about volume, but their pot ended up being the best. You see, Group B, while they were looking and researching, pulling all this data to try to figure out what the best is and looks like, at the end of it, all they had was just grandiose theories and a big pile of dry clay. So if you're anything like me, there are times in your life where, you have to have everything planned, right? You have to know every step, every circumstance, everything involved. And you want perfection. And why not? Because you deserve it. But the problem is we don't act. I had a boss a couple of years ago that I really, truly admired. And, he told me this quote. It was apparently from his dad, but the quote goes like this, I've had 10,000 difficult conversations in my life. About 10% have actually taken place. You see, the problem is sometimes we have these conversations built in our head, these things, these life events, and we're so focused on finding the right words, the right placement of this material, the right this, the right everything, that we don't actually act. We don't actually have the conversations. And then when we do have the conversations, we find out probably wasn't really even that bad. There's this great quote by George Patton, and that is, a good plan violently executed now is better than a perfect plan executed next week. I mean, ultimately, it boils down to this. I mean, whether it's a difficult conversation, whether it's a career move, a business decision, where to go to school, should I ask that girl out to the dance? I mean, whatever it is, take action. Get your hands dirty, make mistakes, and learn from them. And always allow yourself to be refined by fire. And as always, best wishes, be awesome, take care. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. I mean, let's keep this debate going. Is it quality? Is it quantity? Same time, hey, if you love this material, click subscribe and like, and also love to talk to you down in the comments and check out these other videos we've got available for you. Thanks.